Okay, so we'll attempt to draw this in orthographic. So the front view of that block looks like that. And then the top view looks like that. Then and then the left side view will look like that. So let's attempt to do that. Now you'll be working on your drawing board out using a software. So you draw your axis in place, your vertical, your horizontal, and then you draw a 45-degree line to help you to get your side view. Now I have that square in the center, and basically I will be using that to space my views. So using the central point as reference, you can draw that square of side 60 millimeters. So the square has a dimension of 60 millimeters. Now let's begin our drawing. So I'm going to draw the first horizontal line of length 170. That's me attempting to draw the front view. So that's 170. And then the height there is 15. So I draw that in place. So you use your pencil and your straight edge or your ruler to do this. And then I'll attempt to draw that semicircular feature there. Now the distance from the edge to the center of that feature as shown is 35. So I'll measure 35 from that edge and then draw a center line. So I'll first measure 20, and 20 is going to be the center of the two concentric circles. Then increase that to 40. Alright, so for me to draw in the circles, that dimension there, like I said, the height is 20 and the radius of the circle or the diameter is also 20. And for the second one, the radius is 20. That is the semicircle feature. So once I draw that with a circle, I can draw a line which is tangential to the circle, and then I project that line downwards like that. And now I can clean the unwanted parts of the circle. Because you are working with a drawing board, you may not have to go through this. You can just draw the semicircle instead of drawing a circle and cleaning a part of it. So I'm going to look for the center of the boss, and that distance according to the drawing is 60. So from the center of the circle to the center of the boss, that is 60. So I measure 60. And then I get circle. So I first draw the hole that is going through. The hole has a diameter of 10. And then I draw the boss. the boss has a diameter of 25 and not 20, has a diameter of 25. And then from that same center, I would draw the tangential arc with radius of 20. And then I go back and then I draw that circular tangent that is making I draw the interior tangency circle, radius of 80. And then I'll draw the line, the slant line from that edge. And what I need is for that slant line to have an angle of 15 degrees. So you measure the 15 degrees with your protractor. And then on the other edge, I draw a line from the edge and make sure that that line is tangential to the circle. And then I can delete the unwanted parts. Once you are working on a drawing board with your pencil, you may not have to go through drawing and deletion. You can just draw the required arcs and you should be fine. Okay, so now I'll attempt to draw the boss. So that will have a radius of 65. That is the central arc. And this one will have a radius of 50. And the next one will have a radius of 57. The next one should be 65 plus 8. That should be 73. All right, 65 plus 8. All right, so that is that. And now we have to locate the center of the semi circles which embody or which bounce the edges of the slot. So first we draw a horizontal central line to our left as shown, and then we draw another central line, and that central line is making an angle of um, 30 degrees with the vertical. So you make sure you use your protractor to get that. So 30 degrees to the vertical. All right, and now I can use circles. So standing at that central point, I can first draw the outer circles. So the outer circles obviously have a radius of 15. So one on top and then one below. And now I'll draw the inner circles. So your protractor obviously, your compass, and you should be fine using your compass to draw your circles. So that one will have a radius of 8. And now I can trim. Because I'm using a software, I would have to trim, but you are on your drawing board, so you should be fine. You may not have to go through the drawing and the deletion. So when I clean the unwanted parts, this gives me the slots. And now I'm going to draw in the rib. So mind you, the rib has a width of 6. So from that central line, I draw the rib such that it is symmetrical to the center line. I measure 3 to the right of the center line, and I measure 3 to the left of the center line. Okay, so that's that for the ribs, or for the rib, I should say. Okay, and then mind you, on the front view, I also should be able to see um, the counter ball. So the center line for the counter ball on the left is 20 millimeters from the left edge of the feature. So I draw the center line first. Now the counter ball has a diameter of 15. So I measure 15, and then the depth of the ball is 5. And then the hole that goes through, sorry, the counter ball has a diameter of 30, so radius will be 15. So I measure the 15 to the right, and the depth of the ball is 5, so I measure 5 downwards. And then the radius of the hole that goes through the counter ball is rather 15, so a half of it I'll measure 7, and then draw that downwards. So that's how I draw the counter ball. And then basically I replicate the same drawing on the other side of the center line, and that will be my solution for the counter ball. And there are two of them, so the distance between the two of them is 75. So you measure 75 from the center line of the one on the left, then you draw the same thing, 75 millimeters to the right of the counter ball on the left, the one we've just drawn. Now for us to draw our plan, we will project the features of the front view to the top view. I will not project all of the lines because I don't want my work uh, to become unclear for us to see. So I'll project the lines one after the other as I go along. And in fact, I won't draw all of them in place. So what I've done now is I've just projected the extreme ends of the front view downwards. Now we can see from the plan that it has a width of 55. So the width of 55, and then the projection from the front view will give me the boundaries of the top view. And then for the slant section, right, so I project that slant section downwards, and then from the plan I can see that that slant aspect has a length of 10. So I measure 10 and then draw that to the left. That will represent the slant section of the block. So next, I'll project downwards this protrusion, right? So you see, I'm not drawing the projection lines. I'm only using the software to get the edges required. So that one comes downwards according to the dimension, so 35. Okay, and that will give me the top view of the protrusion. and then the hole that goes through, I am projecting the hole downwards, but this time I would have to use hidden lines to indicate that there is a hole that is going through the protrusion. So that is that. And now I'll just draw my center line through. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to project the slot. I'm going to project the rib, not the slot. I'm going to project the rib. So I project the rib downwards. That's the rib. And then there is the boss. So I'm going to project the boss downwards as well. So you see that the boss has the same dimensions as the hole that was going through the protrusion, but the thickness there is 5. So that's the protrusion, that's the presentation of the boss. And now for the slant section, I still have it in construction lines. So let me use subject lines over that. Now for the slot protrudes by a distance of 5 from the slant part, or from the thickness. So I measure 5 away from the slant portion or the thickness of the upper part. Then I project the other end of the slot downwards. Alright. Now you see that the slot from the top, a part of the slot will hide some part of the semicircular protrusion. So I represent that part of the semicircular protrusion with a hidden line. And now I want to locate the countable holes. So looking at the plan, the countable holes, that distance there where the center line is 20 from the outer edge. And then I can just, project the center line from the top view. So I have a diameter of 15 for the hole and 30 for the counter bore. I'll just copy the two of them and then move them to the right. That is 75 if you recall. And that is that. Okay, so for the side view, I would make some projections. So I'm projecting the outer edge of the plan, or the top view and the front view. And that basically, so if I connect with center lines, that basically will give me the boundary of the side view. So that's the boundary of my side view. I draw that in first. Next, I'll project that feature. Right, so just draw the horizontal line for that feature. And then for the slant portion, I'll project the slant portion from the top view. So I project from the top view the slant portion. And then I project from the top view. So if I connect through with my object lines, that will represent the slant portion. And mind you, the connection I'm making represents the thickness of the back plate. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to project the slots onto the side view. So that is 5 and all the way to the projection from the side view, right? So I connect there, and that will be the representation of the slot on the side view. I'm just drawing in the center line. Then I'll extend that center line to the side view. Do same through the hole. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm projecting the boss through the side view, but because it's hidden behind a slot, I would use hidden lines. Okay, so I mirror that to the other side, and that gives me the boss. And now for the hole, so I'm just trying to indicate here that that should be how high the slot goes. So I'm just projecting from the top view to verify the height of the slot. And now for the semicircular protrusion, I project its height of protrusion from the top view and then draw it through the side view. And then I can project that, and that would represent the semicircular protrusion. So for that protrusion, that's how high it is, then all the way downwards. So that's the semicircular protrusion. And then for the hole, I can project it like that using hidden lines, of course. And then there's the rib. So when I connect from the top of the protrusion to the bottom of the slot, that gives me the rib. And then finally there has to be the hole, or the countable hole. So that is where the countable hole is located. So using the same dimensions, you position the countable hole there. I think that is something that you should be able to do at this point. basically our solution is taking shape. So once you do all of that and you place your dimensions, this will be your final solution. And now I guess you can see why I drew the 60 millimeter square at the center. Yeah, so the point of putting that 60 millimeter square at the center was for us to be able to space the views so that we'll be able to dimension our work properly and then get the proper presentation, visibility, and clarity. So that is how come we decided to put the 60 millimeter square at the center of our reference. All right, so this is about our solution. Good luck.